Hey everyone, Andang here for more of Mordor. When we last left off, we were getting ready to go and face Zôreth for the final confrontation. And now, we're gonna do just that. So let's get started. There she is, Andang, the mistress of Lagash, savior of the stout axes. Bah! King Vasmund spits in anger and grips Dolgrath, the battle-hungry, tightly. I think it is time we learned where Manthrith was taken. Let's us go. Here we go. I think with Gimli at our side, this would go decently, at least. I don't know, we'll find out. Your dwarf friend told an interesting tale, Vaskmund, and one that I know well. Don't you see, it was the victory of his people that condemned you to the dungeons of Barad-dûr. You speak only lies, Zôreth. In truth, you abhor my people. You never wanted to help us. Surrender Manthrith, and I will spare you. You will now. Take it. You won't get far before the Order kills you, and then it's still mine in the end. Come, take it. Oh no. Don't do it. Vasquin pulls the key from its chain and opens the mithril-wrought loot box. It is empty. What have you done with it, Zôreth? What? No. Enough of your lies. Manthrith is mine. Okay. Fool of a dwarf. I do not have the ring. So this is what the years of wearing the dwarf ring in the dungeons did to you. Oh yes, I know about that. You shall destroy your own people, Vaskmund. Even I could not be so cruel. Her words still echoing in the heights of Lagash, Zôreth falls defeated. Dang. Manthrith is gone, lost, stolen. Zôreth knew what Sauron did to me in the dungeons. How could she know such things? How could she know how he tortured me, until I felt the hunger and greed of my forebears? For how long have you and Gimli conspired against me? Durin's folk damned my people. How do I know you did not find it in the Dark Tower when I asked you to search for it? Manthrith is mine. It is mine by right, and none shall stand in the way of its return. Not even you and Gimli. Hearken to me, my brethren. This day we shed the name given to us by the Dark Lord in mockery of my forefathers. We are now evermore the Firehorns, and Manthrith will be ours once more. This is the oath I now swear. These traitors and thieves, Gimli, Spacorth, and Andang, are banished from our spire. The Oath-taker's horn. This is the only mercy I can offer you now. Be gone! Dang. Time to go, Andang. Alright, well, that did not go as I thought it would. I am ashamed that I could not resist Zôreth's sorcery, Andang. I am ashamed that I could not even sense her deception. I have failed you. And I have failed Gimli. Leave me if you wish. It is the fate I deserve. Spacorth notices that you make no effort to leave, and smiles weakly. What sort of dwarf is so easily swayed by the power of evil? I suppose that is a foolish question to ask now. Zôreth may have planned to use me to betray my own king, but now Vasquin has forsaken us all, for Manthrith. If this is the way of the Firehorns, I want no part of it. Dang.
Our fortunes are lost, and our people broken.
Gimli has not turned his eyes from the spire since we were cast out, Andang. I wonder, does he truly believe a share of the blame is his? In truth, the blame lies with Vaskmun, Zôreth, and Sauron himself. By Sauron's own hand, Vaskmun was corrupted by the ring, and he is now bound to it by pride and greed, as the Nazgul were to their own rings. Gimli is a fine dwarf, and he has done my people no ill. He must not believe that his efforts to aid us were the cause of such sorrow. 'Twas Vaskmun and his Firehorns. As he commanded, the spire is now called the Oath-Taker's Horn. What oath has been taken, I ask? An oath to bring ruin upon our people. Vaskmun may as well consider it fulfilled, then. Svathor snorts indignantly. Now, what do we have over there? Do you see the two of them by the statue of Sauron? Well, they're certainly not dwarves. Could they be allies of yours? I want to know what's going on in Gimli's head. Alright, let's go find these allies of ours. Ah, of course it's the elf. But a different elf than I thought. You found two elves standing beneath the statue of Sauron. Dang. What business have you in these lands, man? Did you travel hither with the host of men, or is this land your home? Speak at once, or my spear shall be swift. Did you not hear? I said speak! Why have you come here? You introduce yourself to Megoril, and tell her of your journeys with the host of the West, and of your efforts to ensure the success of the Ringbearer's quest, and the downfall of Sauron, the enemy. You also tell Megoril of the dwarves of Mordor, and their efforts to find the lost dwarf rings in Sauron's hordes. Very well, Andang. I am Megoril of Lindon, and my companion is Durnaith. We are among the last remnants of the Great Alliance in this realm, and it brought us joy and relief to learn that Sauron has truly fallen. Death has always eluded the Dark Lord, but I have heard that his ring is gone, and his essence diminished to naught. I know not why any would seek the dwarf rings, or any other artifacts that was wrought through Sauron's corruption, for now the evils he has done to the peoples of Middle-earth might now begin to heal at last. I never thought I would look upon the plains of Golgoroth again, but fate has brought me hither once more. You see, Durnath and I have returned to this land in search of our lost friend and kin, Theleron. During what is now called the War of the Last Alliance, our friend was taken by the enemy, and borne into Mordor on the back of one of his winged fell beasts. Our efforts to rescue Theleron before he was taken beyond the Morannon failed, and in doing so, we nearly lost another of Gil-galad's favored warriors to the corruption of Morgul's steel. Even after Sauron fell at the end of the Second Age, we could not find Theleron in Mordor. He was hidden somewhere beyond our sight, and the enemy's forces still remain to harry us, just as this worm is doing now, as few as they were after the war. Thus our search begins anew. If Theleron lives still, we shall find him. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and kill this worm real quick. There we go. Durnaith has been attempting to learn what the spirits residing in the Watching Stones have seen, that they might unwittingly aid us. But none have answered our challenges, other than this one. Durnaith beheld a terrible form rise from the statue of Sauron, and it spoke to him, warning he should share the fates of the damned in Mordath. I have never known such a place in Mordor, but in the language of the elves, it means Black Pit. Indeed, this has given us much to consider. Perhaps Durnaith might know the fates of the dwarf rings you spoke of. I mean, I guess it's worth a shot. Alright. I am still recovering from my encounter with one of the enemy fell spirits, and my will is exhausted. Allow me a moment, man, and we shall speak. Zôreth takes a moment to steady himself. If Megaril had not wished us to speak, you would not stand where you are now. What is it you want? You tell Zôreth that Megaril mentioned the fell spirit that inhabited the Watching Stone, and that she and Zôreth had come in search of an elf called Theleron. You also mentioned the dwarf rings, and ask if Zôreth knows of any of their history beyond when they were first granted to the dwarf kingdoms by Sauron. Indeed, we have come in search of our companion, Theleron. This is a quest of our own, and one given to us long ago by the High King of my people, before he was slain by Sauron. As for the fell spirit, the one that rose from the statue looked a shade of Sauron himself, but weaker and less wicked in form. It was an echo of Sauron's sorcery, an echo of the Dark Lord, a glamour. This glamour told me of Mordath, a black pit beneath Barad-dûr, where the damned are imprisoned. And it also told me to leave this land, or I would join the forgotten in the depths of the black pits, and never again find my way from Mordor. I do not heed the warnings of such spirits, but these tidings are both good and ill. If Theleron lives, he may have been taken into the black pits. Thus we would have never found him when last we destroyed Barad-dûr. He was hidden away far beneath the scorched lands of Mordor, left to pass an age in silence and darkness, and bearing whatever tortures the Dark Lord devised for him. To answer your questions of the dwarf rings, I have heard a few tales and rumors of them, but little else. As I have heard it told, they did not work as Sauron had planned. The dwarf rings granted might and luck as well as some manner of concealment, but they did not corrupt the dwarves into servants of the Dark Lord, as the rings of men did. Instead, the dwarf rings brought forth a powerful and insatiable greed from deep within the minds of the dwarf kings, a greed that bred in them a compulsion to seek wealth by any means and to hoard it in their vast halls. Ah, but other creatures were as fond of gold as the dwarves, and so for some of the dwarf kingdoms, the rings brought them to ruin. I am afraid that that is all I know of them, and so I believe it is time that Megaril and I resume our search, and seek out the Mordath. Your allies seem to have great need of you. If our paths cross again, Megaril and I shall stand at your side. Alright, man, that is awesome. I can't wait to find out more about the dwarf rings and the entire elf plot that's going on here. Like, that's really cool. So, looking forward to that. I think we will end off here, though. That is one crazy statue of Sauron, and man, it is massive. And got Mount Doom there in the distance. That is pretty ridiculous. Look at the size of the elf compared to that statue. That is insane. Alright. Dang. Well, I think this is a good place to leave off. When we return, we will hopefully find valid target, and also talk to Spackorth and Gimli probably once again. But that's not till next time. Thank you everyone so much for watching, and I'll see you again real soon for more of Mordor.